This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Shave ice by the beach. A trip to the state fair. And a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
Propel Fitness Water. With Gatorade electrolytes, zero sugar, and vitamins, Propel hydrates better than water to help you get the most out of your workout and get back to your best self. What propels you? Propel with Gatorade electrolytes.
The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire. The human postponer. They were the master of one phrase. I'll circle back on that. But 3 months later, you were the one doing all their work and wondering how big that circle is. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can take the hiring load off your plate by automating the hiring busy work from the initial job post to scheduling interviews. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. And now, your host, Steve Collins.
Hey everybody, welcome to Coach Unplugged. I'm so happy you decided to join us. Before we get started today, I'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the #1 shoe machine in the market. I've said this multiple times. We own 3 of them. I want a 4th and a 5th. My AAD's listening to me, but they're so great. They work so well. They're so easy to set up. I think my record is 37 seconds or 32 seconds to set it up. But mention Coach Unplugged, they'll give you $450 off. Mention Coach Collins, they'll take really good care of you. And also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. This is a one-stop shop for basketball coaches. It's everything you need from a nationally ranked. We won 3 state titles. I think we were just talking recently. We've won over 460 games in our program and lost 130 over the last 20 years. And I think we know the secret sauce to be successful, the roadmap, what it takes on and off the court. So go over and check it out and enjoy the podcast. Bye.
My son beaten. We had family dinner and then played Sorry. I haven't played Sorry since I was.
Go ahead. Does everybody's off?
Coach, I'll start it off if
Yep.
you can hear me okay.
I can. Go ahead.
Yeah. We have a 2-2-1 press that we could drop back in 2-3 zone. Next year, I was looking at trying to do more man. So I was thinking like a 1-2-1-1 with someone on the ball and then drop back into a man. I heard you before say that it's kind of difficult to bring that top guy all the way up to cover the guy throwing the ball in. Do you not like that, or is that?
I don't. I like starting, and anybody else can jump in, but I like starting at 3. I've never had great luck on the ball. I've had better luck starting at like the free throw line, just from a setup standpoint. So you ran a 2-2-1 and went to a 2-3, and now why aren't you running a man press into a man? Why a 1-2-1-1 into a man?
I was just trying to do something we mainly have run just because foul trouble over the last few years. We mainly run a lot of 2-3 zone.
Okay.
So I wanted to do more man next year. I was just trying to think of just a different look for the press to drop back into a man.
Yeah, I don't know what everybody else thinks. If I was falling back into a man and I thought I could do it, I would do some sort of man trap, like a run and jump or a sideline or a first dribble or a first pass. You can do it. I mean, we did it this year where you can go from a zone to a man. That's just going to take some practice, and you better have a group that can really communicate well. Because you might not end up with the guy you think you will. You might end up with a 2 on a 4, which is fine as long as the next time they get close to each other they switch. But I mean, I would do some sort of run and jump. Or first pass trap or something like that along the sideline. I mean, you could do a 1-2-1-1, but I don't know if I would necessarily. What is everybody's thoughts? Jake, what do you think?
My thought is what else do you run besides the 2-3 zone? I mean, what other options do you have? in regards to your half court defense?
We run a lot of 1-3-1 and 2-3 is the majority of what we run.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because that's really hard from a full court man, some type of full court pressure into a 1-3-1. That's really hard to do.
Yeah, 1-3-1s. I just like extending them.
Yeah, all you can really do is extend it.
Yeah, I just like going like 3/4 court on the 1-3-1. Yep. You just got to work on those drops a little bit. But so I was
thinking next year. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I like the idea of playing some man. I like the idea of that.
Well, I have 3 to 4 players that can play really good man. I'm always going to have one that is not. So my plan was to do kind of like one sitting in the zone and then 4 guys as runners, maybe 2 guys sitting and 3 guys as chasers. I don't think I'll ever do 5 guys playing man just because my 5th man is not able to cover. I don't know if you like that idea or not. So I was thinking of playing.
I do. I mean, you can just say always start I mean, you can have them back too. I mean,
I love the idea. I think if you got a couple of guys that can't defend, I mean, have them sitting around the perimeter. I mean, around the lane a little bit. There's no problem. I know, Steve, you in years past have had multiple times where you had 3 guys face guard and the other 2 guys are just sitting in the zone. You know.
Right. Yeah. And it just throws them off enough, and especially if the 3 or 4 guys that are trapping are actually running around and causing some chaos. It's not a bad idea to have a safety anyway, because you just don't want to give up layups.
Right. And I usually don't see 5. I was going to say I don't usually see 5 guys that can all shoot outside. Usually there's 3.
Right. So you put him. I mean, that person might be a press break, but that's okay. You want that 5th person for the other team to maybe catch the ball and be able to trap him too. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily a bad thing that other one is staying back and that guy, because then you run at him. He's not used to dribbling the ball. He's probably not used to being pressured.
Right.
So I like that idea. I mean, that's something to play with, I think, in the off season. It's more rule based than rotational based. If you're running a 2-2-1, there's definitely rotational things that you do. But when you run man, it's a little bit more, here's how you do it. Here's where we want to trap. Here's our rotations. It's a lot of experimental, at least when I've done it. It's like, okay, this works. Ooh, I thought this would work, but it doesn't work. And it's kind of reading the group that you have.
So just one last follow-up, and I'll let somebody else talk. But
okay.
So on the 1-2-1-1, my thought was, and my idea, even on our 2-2-1 press, we just try to trap one time and then get the steal. If not, then we just sprint back to our defense.
That would be easy to do. That would be easy to do on a man. So you basically, if you ever look at a high school court, there's usually a volleyball court on it. Do you have a volleyball court on your court?
Right.
Yeah. So you just say, okay, the first pass to outside the volleyball court, we trap. So the volleyball lines are great. I'm from a former volleyball coach. They're great from lots of reasons, but they're great because they're the perfect They're the perfect channel to trap on a basketball court, a high school basketball court. So you could easily do that if you're just going to do one trap and done. You say, okay, the first time they pass to outside the volleyball lines, we go, and everyone knows that we're going to go, and then we just fall back. Perfect. That's an easy. Yeah.
Okay.
And
cool.
You will have success if you trap outside the volleyball lines. Trust me.
Okay.
No matter where you on the court, even in the half court, if you trap outside the volleyball lines, you're in good shape. Those are good spots everywhere, even on the bottom of the court, even the corners. Yeah. But then you could also make a rule if they catch it inside, we're done. Like, sometimes when we've done presses, when they catch it inside the volleyball court, we're done. That's our scramble mode. Right. That's our white flag retreat kind of thing. We've done that in the past too. It's like as soon as they caught it there, we're done. Oops, we didn't. This time's not going to work.
Gotcha. Cool.
Right.
Thank
Anything else with that, Jake? What do you think?
I kind of want to know a little bit about your team and the opportunity of maybe having an extended 1-3-1 out a little bit more, if that's something that you do. I don't think that's a hard idea to put into it, to have another arsenal. If you've run the 1-3-1 before, I think you could be able to extend it once in a while as well. I think it'd be something to try as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Three quarters court. Court.
The hard part is that when they throw over,
Right.
you got to really work on rotate here. Let me show you real quick. For the guys that are you online? Can you see?
When I think of a
Yes,
one,
I can see.
Okay.
When I think of a 1-2-1-1, it almost looks like a 1-3-1. So you might throw them off a little bit if you do that, and then drop into a zone. It's kind of like it all kind of fits together. So you're almost developing kind of a system. You know what I'm saying? Or not?
So you basically run it like this, like that. So you just pull it out a little bit. The key is you just don't. You have some vulnerability here. So when the ball's over here, just like in the half court 1-3-1, this guy's got to bust. These poor little. I'll call this wing 2 and this. I don't have my pad out here because I wasn't thinking of doing this tonight. But anyway, 2 and 3 there. That 2 guys got to dive. I mean, if the ball's here, like the ball's here, that's I don't even know what that is. But anyway, where I made that guy, it looks like a nose there. But anyway, that with this right here, whenever the ball's here, that guy's really got to sink to protect the opposite side. That's the only vulnerability in doing a 3/4 court.
Okay.
But it looks and you can tweak it where all of a sudden the ball's here, this guy's here, this guy's kind of going here. They're not even sure what you're in at that point.
Right, so I'm just thinking that adds another layer to what he's already building off. That if he's already ran a 2-3 and a 1-3-1, and you're going to add that the 1-2-1-1,
right?
1-3-1 extend is just another small layer that you could throw in the game. I'm not talking the whole game. Maybe 4 or 5 possessions. You know, maybe out of made free throws, something. You know, it's just another added part to your defense that's easy to build on.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
He's the only one that won a state title. You know, I didn't win one this year. Shoot. Yeah. All right. Other people. I don't even know who else is here. I can't even see. Jake and I talked this morning already, so we don't need to talk because we already did our podcast this morning. So I'm on my like 5th cup of coffee today. So I've walked the dogs twice. That's a good thing.
I was just going to listen, but do you do it when you do your 1-3-1 3/4 court? Have you ran like any like stunts from the wing?
And what do you mean? They come up or they come?
So yeah, like how you had 2 with the ball, or you had somebody with the ball there, where that wing would run forward.
All right. Yep. So you're saying this guy would come. So sometimes we would. The stunts would be. How aggressive do you want to be? So if you really want to be aggressive, I'd have X2 come up. Like I would have X2 play like secondary and not sink as much. And then because think about it, your trap's going to come here if you want to trap high. So what's got to happen here is you got to take the 3 lanes away. That means this one might have to come up and take away this, and then this one has to kind of cover 2 areas here and here. You see what I'm saying? So it depends on how aggressive you want to be on that trap. Because you basically got to take the 3 passing lanes away, right? So the ball's here, you got to take the passing lane down, the passing lane in the middle, which should already be done. Whenever we've run 1-3-1, 3/4 court, or full court, if the ball gets in the middle, we're done. Like we are in more than retreat. We are in like full sprint back because you're toast in a 1-3-1 if the ball gets to the middle. But this guy should be able to take this away. The pass that you're going to get the steal on is the one across. If this trap is good and he's taking the middle away, you know, the back guy's coming up and taking that away. It again depends on how aggressive you want to be. Sometimes we've had 2 come all the way over and take that away here. Or we've bumped these 2 and we've had the middle guy come over and X2 come over and let them make that pass. But again, it just depends on how aggressive you want to be on it. Sometimes we're working to get a 10 count too, because they'll make this pass back and forth. Like if this guy and this guy is here, they'll make this pass back and forth for like 6 days because they're not sure where to pass it. As long as you have an athlete back here in the back that can go backwards and forwards, it can make it really difficult. But you got to take the pass along the baseline away, and you got to take the middle away. If we're going to let them have one, we let them do this one cross court.
Question for you: out of the piece of this, who is the most important piece? The top guy, in your opinion? Or
The top guy's got to be long, and the top guy's got to be long to take angles away. My best athlete, I used to be different. I used to put, I've had two guys in the NFL that played the X1 here, which is very good because they were both like 6'3" and athletic. So I like long and athletic up top. I got to put an athlete back. The wings aren't quite as important. You got to put your big in the middle, and the wing, the quote unquote less athletic guys, I tend to put next 2 and next 3. I put the smarter guys there.
What about putting a strong defender at that 3 spot to force them to go left, because a lot of teams can't go left, and have a hard trap coming up that right side.
You're saying X3 here? Hold on, let me put this as 5.
Your X3.
So this guy.
Denying one side to force them continually to always go left.
Well, that's not a bad idea. The thing is, the way we play this too, and the thing with a 1-3-1 is we won't always trap here. Like sometimes we'll gap it. Like we'll play space. So this guy will come like here.
It becomes that second pass or the pass along the sideline that gets trapped and where they get in real trouble.
Right. So the 3 things. So X1, I give X1 kind of the do you want to trap or don't want to trap? So sometimes I'll tell X1 to stay back and take this pass away, because if you're if you fake like you're going to trap and then you retreat, they hate that. With a passion. This guy right here. So if
This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Shave ice by the beach. A trip to the state fair. And a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
Propel Fitness Water. With Gatorade electrolytes, zero sugar, and vitamins, Propel hydrates better than water to help you get the most out of your workout and get back to your best self. What propels you? Propel with Gatorade electrolytes.
I think it's this one. Yeah. So if you put this guy here, so if X1 comes like he's going to do it and retreats back, then you've taken the pass from the first offensive player to the second offensive player. So then we can do different things like, well, this guy can sit back a little bit. I let X1 call the trap. I don't care if he yells it. He says, we're going. And then X3 and X1 can hear it, and they know that they're going to go at that point. But playing a 1-3-1, a lot of it is about space, and sometimes I'm just trying to take space and not necessarily get a turnover on it either. I'm just trying to cause, what are we going to do? Because they want to make the pass along the sideline, and they want to make the pass across. At least the teams we play, that's the most common occurrence as far as what they want to do. What do you do, Coach? You do something different?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
We don't do a lot of, we've done some 1-3-1. I like it because you don't have anything. You only have like 1 or 2 good plays against 1-3-1. Like there's just not too many people that have good stuff. We've messed with different stuff. One thing I stole from like West Aurora, who's been one of the best teams in the Chicagoland area forever. He called it Freaky 50, and they just went crazy. Like you'd bring the ball in at the start of the quarter. Now he also had like every year athletes. Like this wasn't, but he would just have them so amped up to do it. People didn't even want to take the ball out of bounds.
Right.
Like they didn't even want. They're like, oh my God, they're gonna run this 1-3-1 to start.
It's vulnerable from the corners in the half court, especially if the bottom guy, in this case X4, if he's tiny, that's a problem. X4 is really important in the half court.
It works a lot better if you have 5 athletes.
If you've got length, ideally I would run this for high school boys. If I've got 5 guys that are all about 6'3", 6'4", or 6'2", and long, oh my God, it's heaven. It's like you don't even have to worry about it. And then you can even put a 6-footer on the bottom. I put my tiny guy in the bottom, but he's got to work his butt off because he's got to take the threes away from the corners. because that's one place, even though if we're getting a trap on it, one place that we're a little vulnerable. But it works really well. I mean, when I've had teams with athletes, I tried to do it this year. My point guard's about 5'8", so it was hard to run it this year because I couldn't really put him on a wing from a rebounding standpoint. I couldn't put him up top because the pass was too easy. Couldn't put him on the bottom. So it was a little bit harder to run for us this year. I don't know. I thought about putting him in the middle at X5 and just being a little nuisance in there. So if we run it next year, because we're going to be very guard heavy. But I don't know.
Old handout from a JUCO coach, like before we had all the advances in scouting, and he said he did this because he played 1-3-1 because he's like, we don't have the ability to drive 3 hours and scout on a Tuesday night.
Right.
Like he said, in like 15 years, his middle guy never led his team in rebound, which I found interesting. The X5 position.
Yeah, because you're more worried about taking away that middle. It is an interesting. I thought about it. I didn't do it this year. I'm thinking out loud right now, to be honest with you, about maybe doing that. It might be a place to put him because we're not going to have a lot of size in our league. People, you know what people do against a 1-3-1 is they get really stationary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They start standing. We do it to sometimes take time off the clock at the end of a game too. We won't trap it. So we won't trap up top, but we'll gap. So if this X3 kind of sits like right here and the X1 kind of sits here and then everyone else is in the right spots, it causes it because that we call them rainbow passes. That's what we want is those rainbow passes because then it gives the whole zone time to shift. It's these opposite ones that you got to really take away. And if you got some size in the middle, it helps. I don't know. I personally, I'd love to play man all the time, every time, but my career has probably been 50-50. Just because you just don't have the guys that do it, at least I haven't consistently. But
hey, Coach, just a follow up. Do you, when you say drop back, would you drop back just to your normal 1-3?
I would. Then we have different We have different 1-3-1s. We have trap. We have a high trap where we trap high and trap low. We have one where we only trap in the corners. We have one where we don't trap but we gap, like I was just talking about, where we'll take up space. You gotta, all of a sudden, if you get your hands up and there's that space, like. You just got to make sure if there's really quick guards that can get into the seams, that can be an issue. But we work on gapping that, just kind of leaving space. And then if they start driving, kind of closing the gate on them. But yeah, it depends. We have different calls we didn't run it a lot this year just because my man wasn't very good. So I was being stubborn and making him play more man. We just have different calls on that. It's the same in the full court too. Sometimes it'll be full double, sometimes it'll be half. Just kind of depends.
Could I ask you how you like to attack a 1-3-1 half court?
Yeah, because we do it a lot in practice. It doesn't like screening and it doesn't like a lot of ball movement. So we tend to screen the opposite side, look for skips a lot. It's a little bit for if anyone's watching this later that's a girls coach, it's a little bit harder in a girls because that skip pass is a little bit depending on the level in the team. Even guys on my team can't make that long skip. But it is weak from that. If you can penetrate and got guards that can get into the seams, that's good. Find some corner 3-point shooters. That helps a lot. And then go to the offense.
When you said screen, are you saying you screen the wing or screen?
Yeah, so the ball's like on the wing of the 1-3-1. We screen the opposite wing. We'll have the top guy kind of screen and then skip all the way across.
Okay.
So and we look to penetrate a lot, and then we'll crash the boards hard against the 1-3-1 because that's what I've noticed at the high school level. Is they have a hard time, and we spend a lot of time in this in practice when we do run it. they have a hard time finding a guy and boxing out on it. So if you got guy, it doesn't matter where they are on the court. We just send them to the glass hard against the 1-3-1 because we've gotten a lot of second and third shots just because people don't get a rotational very well. That's not an offense, but it is effective against a 1-3-1. But yeah, I mean, we run our normal man offense. We run our read and we cut and screen and do our normal man offense against the 1-3-1. And to be honest with you, that has been the most successful for us. We run our read and react where we're cutting, we're screening, because all those people moving through just causes problems for people, especially if they're not used to running it and they aren't good at, the drops. They tend to lose people. Zones don't like things to get below them too. So, we'll have guys go short corner. We'll have guys cut from behind the zone. So zones don't like that a lot. So we work a lot. When we see it, there's only really one team in our league that runs it other than us. So we don't tend to have too much issue with it. But all those things, I don't have a set offense. I've got a couple things I run, but I tend to run my man offense and it works because we're getting movement. I want movement. Any zone, even a 2-3 doesn't like movement from side to side, doesn't like cutting, doesn't like those kind of things. Unless you're, if you're Boeheim, then it's different. But he also has guys that are like 6'7" and athletic and play in the Carrier Dome. So,
right. Cool.
All right. Anything else, guys?
If I could ask one more, then I'll
no problem.
And be done.
Yep.
Last time we were talking about, I was going to run man offense on more of a motion next year. I was going to try 5 out. And so I was just thinking about a few of the rules that I would tell the kids. So I went and run by you. I was thinking basically 4 rules. I want to get your thoughts. The first one was simply just pass and screen away. Pretty simple. The other one would be whoever their worst player is, guarding my player, I'd have that kid go ball screen. So hopefully we can get a switch because there's some kid that can't really guard.
Yep.
Then the third would be down screen, and then the fourth would be back screen. Of course, I would just teach the kids.
So I would get rid of the back screen. I'd get rid of the back screen initially because back screens are really hard to do and implement and teach. And then I would not make necessary. I would say when you pass, what do you got to pass and screen? You got to pass. Yep. So I would make it. I wouldn't even do the player one. I would have that as a call.
Okay.
I would make it as simple as possible if you're just looking for offense rules. So I would say every time you pass, you got to cut. Every time you pass, you got to screen away. Just simple like that. If you're not getting the ball, what are you doing too? I think you want off-ball stuff. That's the problem. I don't think this guy with the ball and the guy receiving the ball, it's like, what are the other guys doing? So I think I'm a big guy in rules sets of 3 because they can't remember more than 3 things. At least most teenagers.
Right. So I guess I wasn't clarifying. So the off-ball stuff was all. I guess I was mainly thinking about. That's what I was saying. The off-ball with down screen, and then eventually teaching the back screen.
Yep. I wouldn't even tell them to. I wouldn't even say down screen. I would say so. If you're off-ball, you're screening. You're finding space or you're screening, like something like that. So but I would just you got to make it as simple as possible. Pretend like they're goldfish and their memory is like 3 seconds. So, what is everybody doing on the court? If you don't have the ball, you're cutting or screening, period. Like if you don't have the ball, you're either cutting or you're screening. If you have the ball, you're either attacking the rim, you're passing, or you're screening. Something like that. What do you guys think, Jake?
When you're running your motion, and this read and react, I'm trying to understand because a lot of like motions back when I was in school and like what we've moved now is like extending the floor. What's your plan? Are you going to extend to use the entire space of the half court? Are you going to run a motion that's free throw line extended? What are you going to do when the ball gets in the corner? Are you going to do anything with that? Like there are some rules in regards to some teams of how they run their motion or the read react when the ball gets to the corner, or how are you going to maintain your spacing?
To answer the question, this is something new that I was going to try to implement this year, so that's the reason I'm asking the question because I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's what
I was just going to say, you had given me good advice of not trying to do 1 out, 4 out, because I don't really have a big. So I'm going to try to go with the philosophy.
Yep. So here's what I would do before we
got past that point.
Yeah, here's what I do before we meet again. So I would I just start jotting. I'd draw some courts up there and just come up with come up with 3 rules. You're doing one of 3 things. You're passing, you're cutting, you're screening. Period. I mean, it's that simple. If you want to make it simple for them. So if you're on the court, you're either passing, you're cutting, or you're screening. The guy with the ball is different because he might be attacking the rim. But I would literally, and then you can add layers to it. Like, we're not going to do like the Rick would laugh because I always tease him about having 8,000 layers. But, I would keep it as simple as possible and just say you're either passing, you're cutting, or you're screening. And then when they're standing there not doing anything, then they should be cutting. They should be passing. That's why if you're playing 5 out, that whole area in the middle of the court should be open. Then we can layer that and say, okay, what happens when the guy dribbles and attacks the rim? Well, you got to replace the spot. You got to screen away. You got to I think that's the first layer you want to add is, pass, cut. What did I say? Pass, cut, screen. Those are the 3 things you got to do. And then after that, you can add more layers to it. Does that make sense?
Cool.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Anything else? Jake, you're going to fall asleep, man. This is what happens when you get up at 5 a.m.
No, I'm just writing down some of the things that people said. So next time office hours, if I come up with anything, because we ran some 5-out motion, and sometimes we would just run one principle at some points, depending on how the defense was too. So sometimes you don't always have to have 3 principles either.
Right.
So if you're trying to do a delay game, we used to just go 5 cutters. So we
we do too. That's what we did. We called it open hand. And it's like the rule was you pass and you cut. You found open space. Poof.
Because that eliminates teams the opportunity to come and trap you or switch. So another thing, as you continue on, you can have some small variations and pull away some of those principles within the context of the situation of your game. So, you don't always have to run those 3 principles all the time. That was the one thing that I wrote down that, you may want to just start with this summer. If you get opportunity this summer is to just get that spacing down and work on that cutter stuff first, and then constantly build on it. They might not get all of it at once. You may want to build on one principle a week or whatever and take it slow.
Right. I agree.
Okay, cool.
All right. Maybe I'll see some of you tomorrow. See ya.
All right.
Later.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Bye.
Hey, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that. If you want to hear more of these, go over and join teachhoops.com. 14-day free trial allows us to do this, and then subscribe, jump up and down, do whatever you got to do. Tell us what you want to hear in the future. Steve at teachhoops.com. All right. Have a great day.
Thinking about upgrading your sleep? Now is the time to shop Sleep Number. Trusted by millions for nearly 40 years, Sleep Number offers superior comfort, personalized adjustability, temperature benefits, and value that is unmatched in the industry. And right now, during the Sleep Number Labor Day sale, all mattresses are on sale. Invest in your sleep and experience firsthand Sleep Number's personalized comfort. Stop by a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com to learn more.